Hey YouTube, what's up? Dr. T here, and welcome to my hometown, St. Petersburg, Florida. We are located on the central west coast of Florida by Tampa Bay and in the Gulf of Mexico on the west side of the county. Take a minute to have a look at St. Petersburg in all its wonders, a piece of paradise to live in. If you are new to my channel, take a look around. You will find everything for one-stop shopping in the playlists. So here we have Ethereum on the GDAX Exchange, and we're looking at what the probable direction is. And I use this for the orange lines and the volume that's taking place in its resistance, and this other side here, wrong one. This other side here, trading view for potential technical analysis, because it enables one to put lines in here. So the first point one should be looking at is, where is the resistance level? The resistance from the resistance level is down here. That's between 416 and 433. So to establish a good base, it really needs to test the area around 425. So we come in here locally and we have our ascending line. This is picking the points where they've been brought back up to the solid line and the downtrend. And take a look at these two lines. If this goes out sideways, it will eventually push this line up, which means the angle is rotating anti-clockwise, indicating an upward movement. If this line gets pushed down, the angle is rotating counterclockwise, indicating a downward trend. So you kind of sit and watch what's going on with these two lines to kind of estimate where the thing's going, because it's kind of in a, see, now it's just moved to the potential for downside movement more than upside movement. And as we know, the long-term assessment is that it should really test a lower level. So right now the outlook is another protracted downswing. And that's looking to be kind of very favorable right now. Local volume is between 96 and 120,000 an hour if you take some of these local blocks and average them out. And the volume is important, because the higher the volume, the more the likelihood is it's going to go down under these circumstances. To find a stable base, you really have to have this volume go back to where it was before, somewhere about 40,000 an hour at 24 hours, something like that. So we're still in a very active trend. The volume here tells you a lot. A high volume tells you something about the movement of the local market, which is active. And the direction it's active in currently is down, so we can expect that to be happening unless the volume shuts down and it levels out, and that volume has got to go down a lot lower than what it currently is at. So with the high volume and the current situation, the expected trend is to the downside, and I'll just shut that off and come back when something else happens. So it now looks like it's on a confirmed downtrend. And this, our line here, the bottom line, has moved down, it's rotating to the downside. All the indicators are down, and you can see our volume here. These blocks coming in at around, well, they're pretty low anyway. So there's not going to be a radical rush down because the volume isn't high enough. But you'll see a trickle down. It's got to go down like 25, 27, 5%. So you could see it dropping 5% down to test that region 416, 433, where it'll kind of see if it can establish a formal base to the last resistance level, the last support level, should we say. So I think that's what we're going to see throughout today. Whether it picks up or just carries on its current path, I think today is going to see it test that barrier and then ask the question, is this going to hold as a support level, or are we going to break through into whale land? Well, whale land after this is bottom of the heap. It can go anywhere. So this is a very, very critical point in time now for Ethereum and Bitcoins anyway. If it breaks through this resistance level, then there's no gap down to anywhere. There's no support down to anywhere. It'll just find whatever it does. If it breaks this resistance level, it will go down like a rocket, undoubtedly. So we will keep an eye on this and come back. So I've been away for a while, put some more money into my account, and these lines have changed. So we will change these angles and touch this baseline, further this one out, just showing the support of the upper line, from which we can have some assessment of where things are going forwards. So right, it's got some upwards action, but this is a local thing. It's very kind of volatile at the moment. Obviously it's the downward trend solidly displayed, and my sentiment is it's got to test 425-ish region before it starts to really anchor in and ask the question, where is the bottom? So this little rising market, we've got all these people in orange who bought in as it went down. You've got all these people in green who bought in on the upside. Well, they're in and it's a down market. They need a little bit of room to dump it. And these people here have got profit. So here is your kind of boundary, 460. And it's setting itself up for a spectacular sell-off as these people presumably will get out. And now we've got a rising upper bound. We can start putting in a new line which keeps tab on how well this is going. So let's put that one in, just kind of angling this thing up through here. We've got these boxed in nicely. We can see where the thing's all going, and yeah, you know, when it comes sideways and bangs into this thing, we get some more information. So analysis is in the moment, seeing the direction of things, and here we're seeing this little sell-off here. So we come over to our other chart, and we can see there's a descending line here. If we haven't broken through this upper bound here, then it's starting to turn to the downside, and the further it goes along there, and once it breaks and starts pushing this thing out, so this thing should go up. It should not hit this down line. It should just go up and keep that down line on its left. If it comes over and pushes the down line, then that's a downtrend. Well, these are difficult and potentially dangerous situations. It is moving to the upside, and some people might think, oh, we've found the bottom, time to buy in. But, you know, we have our bounds here, and this is moving up, which is all very well and good. But the overall trend is still unclear, as a formal base has yet to be established, and this is kind of dangerous territory to be wandering around. So here's the beginning answer to that upside. I mean, it's more or less gotta get above this, and you know that's probably not going to happen. Once this little upside turns and establishes a trend against going up, then we might see it tip. The volume is still pretty high. It's certainly not going down, and we can see locally the volume starting to increase. Once the volume starts to increase, that's favoring the downside really, because this isn't going anywhere to the upside, I don't think. So another thing on this other trading, on this other chart, if the red line breaks this green line, which is our fundamental lower support level, then this thing is pretty much good for being turned, and then we'll progressively start its downward profile, I think. And here we're kind of starting to see that happen. We'll follow this along as it does its nosedive for a few minutes. And come back when it's completed that transition. So this is really the crisis point. We're moving into the pathway where it has got to absolutely go up right now. If it doesn't break through this upward downward trend line and it breaks through this down upward line, then that is your turning point. And worry about the orange line here. This is forward leaning, but this is the point when you would, as a technical analyst, know that this thing is about to go belly down or belly up, whichever the way you want to say it. And that's a good indicator for, okay, we've had some upside, it's time to get out of Dodge. Absolutely time to get out of Dodge. And here it is. This is what you're waiting for. This is what you practice. You sit here by the hour making training your understanding of what's going on. Move these lines around, and here it is. We have broken through the downward upward ascending line. That is the critical first signal of a turn to the downside. What you can see in this position is an early perspective of where it's going. Now this is just saying we predict that it's now going down. If it changes, then we're wrong, but it's crossed the threshold quite clearly, and as it goes sideways and pushes that line to the downside, rotating around here, then that more or less is a commitment to the downside. It's lost its upward trend, and it then will just collapse slowly but surely into a rundown, I think, and that's the leading edge of where it's going. So I think it's fairly safe to say now that this little run up here is over. See the way it's been bought down here, sold down from the rise, and we have got one solid position over the bottom line, and there it goes. Now from here on out, it's just get out of the way, because it's going to go down and it's not going to come back up. You know, it might go down a bit, come up a bit, go down a bit, but now the trend probably for the rest of the day is down. It's a downtrend anyway. It tried to rise up, it's missed, it made one pass, hasn't eclipsed the former high, and now it sets up the move for the rest of the day being technically down, and maybe a big rush to the downside. So you can see these blocks here. $200,000. Well, it goes 5,000, 50,000, so 100,000 and 50,000. That's serious money being taken out of the market by people who obviously have got a lot of money. It's a good indicator. These people know what they're doing. I think when you've got somebody that's pushing that kind of money around. So we're seeing this thing go again as it pushes down, and this is the technical side. We've already pushed this down line over once, which gave us the first signal over here, which I've moved, which said that it's turning to the downside. It's never passed this upper line, although that's been adjusted. You can see it's never really got across there. Now once again it's pushing the down line down. Now these things take time to turn. You know, you draw an arc here, it's a curved line turning around to the down. You can't draw arcs here. Well, you probably can. There probably is something on here that will draw a curve, but essentially you've got a curving line that's arcing down, and that's the pathway we will expect to see eventually. So come over to the technical book. Here's a technical pattern that is called the head and shoulder pattern, where you've got powerful volume to the upside, loss of volume here, powerful volume to the upside, and it sets this particular pattern up with a rotation as it goes around, and you're starting to see this, the upside, the shoulder, the upside. So you're starting to see this kind of a pattern come out, which is a strategic technical pattern showing that there's about to be a move, and no doubt with time. Where's this bottom here? But there's our first up. This is first. We don't have a first up, first down. We've just got a shoulder really on an upswing, but it's kind of saying, well, this is the shoulder. Although the shoulder's at the top here, it's the bottom of the shoulder, but you know, out here somewhere, when this comes down, you're going to look for another little bump before it goes down. So we'll see if this happens, and good to kind of identify a strategic pattern. See how fickle the live market is, as it's now been taken over by the bulls and pushed it up to its former resistance level, and it's starting to break through it. So, you know, all that earlier analysis is temporarily on the sidelines as we wait to see what happens. Well, I'm surprised it even went up. I certainly wouldn't want to be investing around here. They went up 2%. It was just a matter of time, I guess. Here comes the wrong one. Here comes the major dump. And that major dump has just crossed our upward descending line. Lower bound line. Watch the enthusiasm of this for a bit. I mean, all told, my perspective is probably going to turn out to be correct. It's just that it took a little longer, and very surprised to see that run up there. Wouldn't have even thought that would have happened. So we've got a bottom ascending line. We can now put in an upper ascending line. It's pretty much been established. So let's go and fix it afterwards. Here. Clunk. A little bit. Oops. Move out of my way. Trim you down a bit. It's pretty close. Come out, golly. This thing is too close to this mark here. There we go. So I think this is a good study. It takes time, watching it all the time. You learn from it. We have a fixed descending line. We have now a fixed ascending line, and we have an active, the only active line there is, which is starting to depart from its earlier line base. in a downward arcing direction. This may take quite a while, and it may even reverse, but at least gives us some perspective on what's going on. So this is a good while later. I've had a rest, and you can see now the reaction to that situation. So now define our new line, which we will, for the moment, link down here. Move that. This happens to be on this particular element. Damn, what a stupid place to put it. Clearly we've got this rotating arc more of it moving to the downside. We'll get out of the way of that. So there we go. Take a look at our thing here, and the I don't remember what the volume is. What is the current kind of averages volume? 900. Let's put it on the hour. And look what the hour looks like. 6. 7 2 is the 14. 140. I've still got a lot of volume in there. This is what driving it. This volume since this morning when it picked up, and this is what's driving it. So it's very active, and there's its base. About to see if it's going to break through that base or bounce off it, and once again have another trajectory. So this is another critical moment. We're looking to test the buyback support of this morning's downside, where it just about broke 450. If it gets through that, then we're on our way down. If it holds, then we're for another sideways period of time to see what goes on from that. So we can now add a major descent line down here and follow on the trajectory of where things are going. Let's open that up a little bit, not that much. So plunk that in there. Whoops. Plunk that. Yeah. Move that up here a bit. So we might get some view as to what's going on in regard to this downside block volume here, which brought us down to this recovery from that lower below 450 to 450. That was the volume that took it down, and I guess we're going to have to see some kind of volumes like that. There's one here on this downside. So if the volume doesn't increase, then it's probably not going to pop that, because it's going to take quite a rush to do that. On the other side, there's only there's some blocks of support out here, up to 3,000. So we're seeing an active dump, and we're just on the verge of breaking through this bottom support line on its rising bottom edge. So we'll see how far that goes, and See if it comes and tests this bottom down at 454. So there's a battle royal going on between the bears and the bulls here. This very sharp pull up didn't last too long before it got dumped and got bought back, and then boink, it gets dumped again and then bought back again. It's really oscillating all over the place, trying to find who is going to control the direction from here on to either the stability and support or burst out to below 450. And it's broken through our last bottom range support line. It hasn't breached the base of this, but it's certainly broken through that support line there, which tells us something, that it's trending down and testing this level here. And of course the bottom end of it is down here, where that will then fall off the planet. But that remains to be seen whether that happens or not. This was a long time coming, but you have to wait and wait around, because it is broken through and thrown a shit fit. Here we go. There's my last reiteration. It's broken through that one last space, and now it's, well, you know, I've just put this on the whole 1 year chart. Where's the bottom? Nothing. Where's the next major downswing to the bottom of everything? 300. Who knows where this will go? I mean, it's just going to keep on rolling until it finally reaches some kind of get down there to the bottom shit. So it's not noble. The thing is to just stay out of the way of it and keep recording the downside and yeah, pick up some experience along the way.